Hi, boys and girls. Today we are doing day 12 and we are doing your math lesson for today. You can find your math lesson for day 12 in your packet. I'm going to show you first a video to go over the visual learning that is in your work packet. And then I'm going to go over a little bit of a guided practice activity that can help you complete your practice problems. So the very first thing that we are going to do right now is we are going to go ahead and we are going to watch a video about visual learning.
How can you use fraction names to represent whole numbers? Think about this question during the lesson. What are some equivalent fraction names for 1, 2, and 3?
Let's find out.
How many wholes does the number line show? Each whole is divided into how many parts?
So this video is going to pause. So what I want you to think about is how many wholes does this number line show? So if you look at it, you can see that it is divided into 3 whole holes because I have 1 hole, 2 holes, then 3 holes.
The number line shows 3 wholes. Each whole is divided into 1 equal part. You can write a whole number as a fraction by writing the whole number as the numerator and 1 as the denominator. 1 whole divided into 1 equal part can be written as 1 over 1. 2 wholes, each divided into 1 equal part, can be written as 2 over 1. 3 wholes, each divided into 1 equal part, can be written as 3 over 1. There are many fraction names for whole numbers. What is another fraction name for 1?
Select your answer.
So I'm going to be selecting an answer, and I'm looking for what is another fraction name for 1. So I'm going to look at 1 whole, and I can see that I have 4/4. That's not an answer. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to say, oh, I have 2 halves, or 2 over 2 is equal to a whole.
You can find other equivalent fraction names for whole numbers. Is there a pattern for finding equivalent fraction names for a whole number? Explain.
So what I want you to think about is there a pattern for finding equivalent fraction names for a whole number? So you can see that for 1, you can see that the numerator and denominator are always the same for a whole number. On here, you might notice a pattern for when there's 2 wholes that the numerator is double the denominator. For example, if I do 1 times 2 or 1 plus 1, I get 2. If I do 2 times 2 or 2 plus 2, I get 4. If I do 4 plus 4, I get 8, or 4 times 2 equals 8. If we look at 3 wholes, we know that 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6, and 4 times 3 is 12.
Yes, write the whole number as the numerator and 1 as the denominator to find an equivalent fraction name. To find others, multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number.
So boys and girls, this is just kind of going to show you. If you have 3 over 1, 3 times 1 is 3. So you would probably do times 3. Then you would get 9/3. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a guided practice. This is not in your packet, but we're just going to go over it together to help you understand your independent problems in your packet. So the first thing I'm going to look at is explaining how I know that 4/1 is equal to 4. So one way that I can do this, okay, is I know that 4/1 means that I have 4 copies of the unit fraction 1/1, which is 4 wholes. So I know that 4/1 is another name for 4. 4/1 and 4 are at the same point on the number line. 4/4 is 4 copies of the unit, and the unit is 1 whole. Okay, so if I'm thinking of a whole, right, I might draw, okay, there's 1 whole, there's 2 wholes, there's 3 wholes, there's 4 wholes. So I know that these represent, okay, my 4 wholes here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 wholes, which is this 4 on top, and then each whole is only in one part, which is the 1 on the bottom, or the denominator. Now over here, we have complete the number line, and I'm going to complete this thinking about, okay, what is it partitioned into? Let me look at my wholes first. So I have 1 as a whole, and I have 2 wholes, okay? So I can already see they've done a lot of the work for me. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in some of these boxes. So I know if I'm counting by thirds, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, then 6/3. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to move my numbers to the right place. So I know I always start with 0 and then I go to 1/3. 2/3 already done for me. Then I have 3/3. And I can check my work because I know that 3/3 equals a whole. So it's lined up with my whole. Then I have 4/3. Now I know that my fraction is getting bigger than 1 whole because it's bigger on the number line. Then I have 5/3, and then I have 6/3. 6/3 is equal to 2. Okay? Now I'm looking down here and I see I have 6. This number line is partitioned into 6. If I count my wholes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So this whole is split or partitioned into 6 parts. So I know I start with 0 and I count up from there. So I have 0, then I have 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6 is already done for me, 4, 6, 5, 6, 6, 6, and I can check my work. I know 6, 6 is equal to 1, and it is lined up with 1. Then I have 7, 6, so now I'm going to be greater than 1 whole. 8, 6, 9, 6, 10, 6, 11, 6, and 12, 6. And you can use the same pattern the visual learning talked about. So here I have 2 wholes, so I know that 6 times 2 equals 12. So I can just check that with that relationship or that pattern I noticed. Down here it says look at the number line. So we're going to use this number line to help us with number 3. It says write 2 equivalent fractions for each whole number. So 1. So I'm going to look up here and I'm going to find 1 and I'm going to see, okay, what 2 fractions are equivalent. And I see that I have 3/3 and I have 6, 6. And I know they are equivalent. I can either draw a picture to help me understand that, or I can also look at my number line and see it's lined up at the same place on the number line, which means it has the same value. Now over here I have 2 holes, so I'm going to find 2 holes. Here's 1 hole, here's 2 holes, and I see that 6, 6, or 6/3 is equal to 2, and then I have 12, 6 is equal to 2 as well. All right, boys and girls, that is it for our lesson today. I hope you had a great time learning about fractions on a number line and relating them back to a whole number. Please go ahead and do your math practice problems. They are on the slide, and they are also in your packet under day 12 for math. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.